Alright, what's up YouTube? Today we're going to do a review on the Spyderco Techno. But before I get into that, I'm going to do a little rambling. So if you want to skip ahead in the video, you can. I'm trying to get some more videos out than I have been. Recently, probably, I don't know, a few months ago, I had some financial problems and ended up having to sell my favorite knife, my Sabenza, which I never even did a video on, which is kind of messed up. I should have done a video before I sent it out. And probably my second favorite knife, my 3-inch Hinder. So I had to do that. But here recently, things have been getting better. I've been getting back on track, money and everything. And I'm probably here shortly. Probably next week, I'm going to be making an order to replace my Sabenza. So might be doing an unboxing for that and try to make a overview or something on that knife too. Another thing I noticed on my account, I have 49 subscribers, which is pretty crazy. I haven't looked at it in a while, so I thought I had like 12. So that's cool. I didn't realize I had that many people watching, but maybe when it hits 100, I'll do a giveaway or something like that. I'm going to be using a different background today. I'm sitting in my backyard. Just put this piece of wood on the table and some random stuff. So if y'all kind of like that background, you can let me know. Or if it's too cluttered or distracting, I'll make something different. But anyway, I guess we'll go ahead and get into the review of the Spyderco Techno. I'm just going to go through some brief things. I'm not an expert or anything. So this Techno was made in a collaboration with a custom knife maker named Marcin Sleesh, I believe is how you pronounce it. It could be Sleesh, I believe is what it is. And this was the first knife that Spyderco did with him. They have another one now, the Spyderco Bowie, and maybe another one. I think that's the only two right now. But anyway, the do a few specs. I'm not going to get crazy with the specs. The overall length of this knife is about 6 inches. I think it's 5.98 inches. The blade length is 2.55 inches, and the weight is 3.6 ounces. The handles are 2 slabs of titanium, and I guess we'll start there. I'll give you a good close-up. Look at this cool looking stone wash they got on these titanium handles. I think that's really cool. The high scratches really well. I've had this knife for like over a year, and I've used it pretty regular. And you can't tell if there's scratch marks on here, if that's how it came. I just love the way that looks. And they whatever they did to the scales, they must have done to the hardware as well, because it matches. The hardware is kind of a gray color to match the scale. Look at the back side here. It's got the wire pocket clip, and I just noticed before the video I must have brushed up against something because I got some stuff on the clip there. I don't know where that happened at, but yeah, it has the wire pocket clip. It's reversible, left or right handed, tip up only. It's got this really cool blue G10 backspacer, which is one of the reasons I wanted to get this knife, because blue's my favorite color. I love it in knives, so get you a close-up on that. On the back right here, it's completely flush with the scale. I don't know if you can see that, but you can't really tell where the scale is and where the backspacer starts. It just feels like all one piece right here. But then as you go back, it's got this, it's not really jimping, but raised grooves, and that's actually sticks out just a little bit further than the scales themselves. So over here it's smooth, and then they just come out just a little bit here where you can feel them when you're holding the knife. So that's about it for for the handle. I think it looks really nice. Let's take a look at the blade. Let me wipe it off real quick. Take a look here. It's a pretty cool, I guess it's a drop point style blade, modified drop point maybe. But it's got this really cool finish on it. It's like a stone wash mixed with like a mirror polish or something. And I think the Bowie's the same way. I've never had the Bowie, but you can see the reflection. You can probably see me behind the camera almost, which is really cool. But if you look closely, it's like it has a stone wash as well. So somehow they were able to make this a nice stone wash pattern and then polish it really nice. There's the Spyderco logo there. There's the little maker's mark, Marcine's mark. Kind of looks like Wolverine. Which is pretty cool. Taiwan, Taichung, where the good stuff comes from. Oh yeah, the steel is CTS XHP, which is, I've heard that's like similar to D2, except it's more corrosion resistant, but I'm not for sure on all that. It's got some, another thing is the spider hole is smoothed out, so it's not sharp like a lot of Spydercos are, and it has some jimping on the top here. Man, I need to get a different viewing angle for my videos. Jimping's it's not overly aggressive. It's pretty smooth. It's just something there for your thumb to catch. It ain't sharp or nothing like that. It's all rounded out, smooth. So I guess the next thing we'll look at is the action. Now normally, this is actually my second Techno. I had one for a little while, sold it, missed it, and got this one. But I bought them both new, and when you first get them, they are pretty stiff out of the box. But this it's pretty broken. Like, this is way smoother than how it'll be when you first get it out of the box. It's no problem for me to open and close this easily. You can flick it out like that. It is definitely not a drop closed knife, but it's still smooth. It's similar to the way a Sebenza would feel, except it's a little stiffer, I believe, than a Sebenza would be. But the action ain't bad at all. I mean, it ain't terrible. And like I said, you can easily flick it open if you want to, or just open it slow once you get it broken in. The lockup is amazing on this knife. You know how some knives you can just tell that, like, wow, that's a bank vault feel. This locks up like a beast, and it's hard to show in a video, but man, this lockup is crazy. See, it's at about I don't know, 40% maybe, but there is absolutely no play at all. There wasn't any when I got it, still isn't any. It's got room to go over as it wears in if it needs to. Look how thick that lock bar is though. Like when this thing locks, it's louder than a Sebenza in the way it locks, but I have zero worries about this lock ever failing. I think the lockup on this is amazing. Let's see what else. Let's take a look at the centering. I've never taken this knife apart since I've had it, which I probably need to clean it, but still perfectly centered since I got it. That's another thing I forgot to show is look how thick the blade stock is on this. I don't know why I forgot to show that earlier. It's pretty thick, beefy, but it's a full flat grind, so it gets down to a pretty thin edge. It slices better than you would think for that thick of a blade. Let's see what else. Oh, kind of going back to the action, it has a pretty strong didnt. So that's one of the reasons why it's hard to open when you first get it, because it's pretty beefy detent. When you first get it, you probably won't be able to open it slow like this, because it's so hard. By the time you break the detent, you're going to be almost out. That's why a lot of people have trouble when they first get it, because that detent's so strong to start opening the blade. What I do when I open it, I think I put my fingers along this edge or on the clip like that, and just don't put any pressure on the lock bar, and it's easy to open for me. But I have shown this knife to people that, you know, aren't knife people, and they have like, oh, how do you open this? But it ain't hard. It's easy for me anyway. So I wouldn't let that stop you from getting it. Let's see what else. It's got a stop pins right here. That's the closed stop pin and the opening stop pin, and it's great because it's a floating stop pin, so it'll rotate so you don't have wear all in one spot of it. It'll wear more even. I don't know if you can hear that spinning, but it won't do that when it's closed, make a noise, or when it's open. It's just, if you're in between, you can spin it, it'll rotate. So this carries pretty good in the pocket. I love the pocket clip. I don't know if you can tell, but it's like the pocket clip's getting a little more worn than the rest of the knife, but most people will not be able to tell you're carrying a knife with this, especially with like jeans. Like it fades in so good. Let me see if I don't have pants or anything to show you the clip, but let me put it in this Chris Reeve cloth so you can see. That's basically what you'd be seeing as far as the deep carry on it, which I like. I like the wire clip. Now maybe it don't look as cool as having like a full titanium clip, but functionally it's great. So the ergonomics, let's see. It ain't like a PM2 or something like that as far as ergos go, but it's not bad either. Like this is a pretty comfortable grip. I don't have a lot of hot spots. Maybe if you're really bearing down on it, you'll get some hot spots, but most of the time I found when I carry this knife a lot, and when I go to cut something, what I'm normally doing is I put my 3 fingers here, and then my thumb on the side right there, and then my index finger on top. That's normally how I'm holding the knife when I go to cut something. If I'm going to open a package, put it in like that, cut it open like that, cut something down like this. Normally I'm not sure why, but this is normally how I'm gripping the knife when I'm holding this particular knife. I have about medium-sized hands, and I can get a full 4-finger grip on it in this position. Not really any hanging off though, and that's with my index bumped up pretty far. So if you put your fingers together, you should be able to get a full grip on it. If you have medium, small hands. If you have large hands, you might be more of a 3-finger grip. But they're not awesome. The ergos aren't awesome, but they're not bad either. I don't really have any complaints with them. Let's see, what else? I guess we'll do some size comparisons. I always like to do size comparisons so you can get an idea of how big the knife is. Let me see, I got my knife box right here. I'm going to try to show some common knives people who are more likely to have. Here's a Kershaw Skyline. That's that. Let's see, what else do I got? Here's my old Spyderco Persistence, I think is what it's called, which is like their medium size. They got the Tenacious and the Resilience that's bigger than this, then the Ambitious that's a little smaller. So that's that. Let's see what else. Throw in a Delica. Probably my next video make's probably going to be on this Delica because Well, I'll just tell you about it when I do the video. So that's that. Let's see what else. Oh, I wanted to show this. The Pilar. The poor man's Techno. Not really, this is a good knife on its own. I love this knife. Did a video on that recently. Let me put that next to the Techno there. If I could only have one, which one would it be? Of course, it'd be the Techno. But the pillar has some, advantages that the Techno doesn't. Like the action's definitely smoother, and the ergos are better. But anyway, budget blade's pretty nice. I guess I'll show one more. How about my Sage 3 that never sees the light of day? And this is about the same size as most Sages, so that'll give you a good idea if you have one of the Sages. Pretty good comparison, I think. Let's see, put that back. So that the going price for the Techno, new, I think you can get it like right at 200, maybe a little less. I guess the reason I end up carrying this knife more than most of my other ones, especially since I haven't had my Sabenza or anything, is just because it's so compact. Like I don't even realize that I'm carrying it, and I love the beefiness of the blade stock. I think it's a good value for what you're paying for, because a lot of zero tolerances, they're titanium, flippers. Most of them S35VN, other good steels, and this is kind of in that range. Titanium. You got XHP on this one, but I think it's just as it fits in that price range with other knives like ZT and such. Let me do like a quick. I'll try to do a quick cut test. I have some paper here just to show you. And so I've had this knife for about a year and using it off and on, nothing real hard, but every time I use it to go strop it. So I have not done anything to this edge other than strop it, and I might have ran it on the sharp maker a few times, but that is about it. So let me see if I can cut something here. It's kind of hard with my camera angle. Let's see. Whoop. Might be time to touch it up a little bit, but you can see it slices good. And I seriously have not done anything to this but strop it and just make a few passes on the sharp maker every now and then. And it's still sharp. It ain't gonna slice as good as the Delica, but for the thickness of the blade, I mean, this slices better than a Hinder, that for sure out of the box. So anyway, just wanted to do a quick little cut test just to show you that it does slice pretty good. All right, let me look at my paper here and see if I missed anything. Let me give you one good last good look at it. Do a close-up. If you're thinking about buying it, I think you would like it if you like this style of knives. All right, well, y'all have a good day.